Season 1 of The Bear introduces Carmen Carmy Berzatto, an award-winning chef who leaves behind his burgeoning career in New York City to return to his hometown of Chicago following the death of his brother Michael. Michael had a long-standing drug problem and a history of getting himself into deeper and deeper trouble, eventually leading him to thinking that dying was his only way out. Michael has left behind his rundown restaurant, The Original Beef, which Carmy takes ownership of and runs alongside Michael's lifelong best friend Richie, affectionately known as Cousin. Carmy's years of tutelage under the greatest chefs in the world have made him extremely passionate and particular about the art of cooking, and his new standards immediately clash with the stubborn and abrasive Richie and the rest of the beef staff, including the line cooks Tina and Ibra, the baker Marcus, and resident handyman and wannabe employee Neil Fack. Carmy makes massive changes to the restaurant's cooking methods and menu despite Richie's resistance, and teaches the staff the respect in calling each other chef, though Tina passive-aggressively refers to Carmy as Jeff. As Carmy tries to whip the staff of the beef into shape and revitalize his brother's business, he must also contend with the massive debt Michael owed to their late father's best friend known as Uncle Cicero. In addition to owing Cicero $300,000, Michael also left the restaurant's taxes in disarray, which Carmy is forced to fix with the help of his sister Natalie. Carmy is also left baffled by many of Michael's business decisions, including buying excessive amounts of smaller cans of tomatoes instead of larger, cheaper cans in bulk. And to make matters even more complicated for Carmy's mission to keep the beef open, he discovers that Richie has been selling drugs in the restaurant's parking lot, which puts the entire business in jeopardy of being shut down for good. But things eventually start turning around at the beef due to Carmy's passion and resilience. Sydney Adamu is an aspiring chef long inspired by Carmy's rise in the restaurant world, who takes a job as his sous chef at the beef and quickly earns his trust. Throughout their working relationship, Sydney earns Carmy's respect and becomes his equal partner in running the beef and turning it into something special. Sydney is impatient and stubborn, at first butting heads with the rest of the staff, but eventually winning their respect. Under Carmy's tutelage, Marcus finds a passion for pastries and begins developing his own recipes and menus. Despite initial reluctance, Tina eventually takes to the beef's new ways and begins to thrive under the new responsibilities and work ethic. She finds a new drive and spark that she thought she lost years ago, and finally begins calling Carmy chef out of respect, although she still occasionally calls him Jeff as a term of endearment. In the end, it's only Richie who remains stuck in the past, left worried that he serves no purpose in the new order of the beef, and that he will be left behind as it forges a new future. Despite this newfound success, Carmy's excessive work ethic has left him little time to emotionally process his brother's death, leading him to violent outbursts and mood swings. During an especially chaotic rush of orders, Carmy finally snaps, exploding on his staff, neglecting his partnership with Sydney, and admonishing Marcus's work on a donut that Carmy had inspired him to perfect. In response, Sydney and Marcus both quit, and Carmy finally realizes he needs to seek outside help. He attends a meeting for family members of addicts where he finally unleashes all of the emotions he has kept bottled up. The love of cooking he first shared growing up with his brother, the wedge driven between them by Michael's secret drug habit, the bitterness of Michael never allowing Carmy to work with him at the beef. Carmy finally realizes that his unrelenting desire to restore the beef is actually his own misguided attempt to restore his relationship with his late brother. With this breakthrough, Carmy apologizes and reconciles with his staff, leading to Marcus and Sydney returning to work. As the season comes to a close, Richie gives Carmy a letter he found that was written by Michael before his death. Addressed to Carmy, the letter encourages him to let it rip, and contains the recipe for Michael's Berzatto family spaghetti dish. As Carmy cooks his brother's signature meal using the small cans of tomatoes, he discovers that they all contain bags of money, adding up to the entire amount that Michael owed to Cicero. As Carmy serves his Berzatto family meal to his makeshift family, he announces his desire to close the beef and use the money to open a new restaurant they could all build together, a restaurant named The Bear. In Season 2 of The Bear, Carmy makes Sydney his official partner and equal in the new restaurant, but they both quickly realize that this new venture will be much harder than either of them dreamt. They ask Cicero for another loan with the promise of paying it back within 18 months, or else they will turn over the entire property to him. This forces the Bear staff to massively speed up their plans to get the new restaurant open within 3 months. To do so, Carmy brings in Natalie as project manager to whip the staff into shape and secure all of the necessary necessary permits that could make or break the entire business. As Fack spearheads the restaurant renovations, the rest of the former beef staff prepares for their new roles at the Bear. Tina and Ibra go to culinary school, where Tina is excited about the prospect of learning new skills, while Ibra is stuck in his old ways and drops out. As Carmy and Sydney look for a new sous chef, Sydney realizes that Tina's hard work and growth has earned her the position and offers her the job. Marcus is sent to Copenhagen to train under the skilled pastry chef Luca, who previously worked with and became inspired by Carmy's own culinary skills. Marcus learns a great deal from Luca and returns to Chicago with a renewed drive and burgeoning romantic feelings for his biggest supporter, Sydney. Meanwhile, Richie's life crumbles around him, including his marriage officially ending, his relationship with his daughter straining, and his usefulness to the new Bear restaurant seemingly non-existent. Carmy sends Richie to stage at Ever, one of the best fine dining restaurants in Chicago, which Richie first thinks is just a ruse to get rid of him. But Richie is soon completely captivated by the passion the staff of Ever display for their craft and their care for their customers. Richie finally understands the deep emotional impact a transcendent dining experience can leave a patron with, and he returns to the Bear a completely changed man. He has passion in his life again. He has a new structure and code, and also he wears suits now. As Sydney puts all of herself into ensuring the Bear's opening will be perfect, she begins to grow resentful toward Carmy's lack of focus. She has experienced failure at starting her own catering business before, and has put a lot of pressure on herself to not fail again. At seemingly the worst time possible, Carmy finally tries to do the healthy thing and pursue a life outside of the kitchen. He begins to date his childhood crush Claire, much to the excitement of his lifelong friends Richie and Fack. Carmy tries to further come to terms with his relationship with his late brother Michael, but also his relationship with his volatile and unstable mother Donna. Carmy and his sister Natalie grow closer as they work on the Bear together, and are overjoyed when Natalie reveals that she is pregnant, despite her well-meaning husband Pete being seen as lame by everyone. As the season comes to a close, the staff of the Bear prepare for its opening night. Ibra returns and reconciles with his work family, and is placed in charge of running the restaurant's takeout sandwich window. Carmy gives Sydney her own monogram chef's coat, and Fack is officially promoted from sometimes handyman to full-time staff. As the first night of service begins, Carmy accidentally locks himself in the walk-in freezer due to his relationship with Claire distracting him from fixing the latch. Despite missing Carmy, Richie and Sydney successfully run the front of house and kitchen in expert fashion, pulling off a perfect night for all of their patrons. Despite being invited to experience her children's success, Donna Berzatto can't bring herself to actually enter the Bear and take part in such a joyous occasion with the family she has pushed away. As Claire goes to congratulate her boyfriend on a successful opening, an unaware Carmy rants about his own self-loathing and how he has let his relationship with Claire ruin his dedication to his restaurant, causing him to miss the entire opening night. Claire is devastated by Carmy's harsh words and tearfully leaves, while Carmy is left feeling even more guilty that he has ruined his relationship with the dream girl who loves him. But despite Carmy's dismay, Sydney leaves the night feeling less anxious about potential failure and more confident than ever about the Bear's future.